Kemper Profiler Tones and Talks, Season 2, episode number, Thomas?
I think 10.
Help me. I think it's episode 10, that's true.
It's 10, yes, it's 10.
It's 10, thank you. Legends Tribute, here's the video. And of course, it's about Prince. It's about that track, which I think defined Prince for a lot of people, or for the world, and then the tonal world of Prince and what he used over the years. And Thomas really got deep into the details and has a lot of information for us. For everybody else who's not satisfied with what we have on the menu for today, I would recommend to check out the Sunset Sound Studio podcast. You find it on YouTube, search for Sunset Sound. That's the studio where Prince recorded and produced a lot of stuff in the 80s with the sound engineer Peggy McCready. And the good people at Sunset Sound, for example, have invited Peggy back into the holy halls and talked to her a lot about how it was to work with Prince and how he worked and what quirky things happened to make the tracks turn out the way they turned out in the end. And yeah, please check out this one. And here's Mr. Thomas Dill again, who definitely knows much more than I do. And please take over and get into some Prince stuff.
Okay, first of all, what you heard in the video is just a sound alike from, Purple Rain, played different just to fit to the key of the video, of the medley of the video. So the original is 1/2 step higher and with some different chords.
So what's that first one? In which key are you right now?
B flat. It's
okay, because I used to play that in a cover band with this amazing singer Pamela Falcon from New York, and this was completely different. I think we started with B, with B, yeah, B flat, yeah. But a 9.
Yeah. Most people play this sus2, but in the original, it's that one.
Okay, cool.
B flat at 9, the third in the as lowest note. So maybe you should play that this. But in the original intro, it's just the third as the lowest note. Then going to the minor, G minor at 11, minor 7 at 11, then the F. And that nice chord for my small fingers. This is an E flat at 9. The 9, third, and the 5th. So that's the original version.
So after 30 years now, I finally learned how this is played properly. I just was,
I played that wrong years ago too, and somebody told me how to play it right. So it's normal. It's normal, but it's just a simple 1, 6, 5, and 4 chord progression made this really unique sounding song.
I know, yeah.
And there's another thing. It's not only about Prince. It's about another person who created this great part. I will come to that later.
Okay, cool.
So I take over with some research that I did. The hardcore Prince fans may forgive me for hopefully that everything's all right, that I researched for that stuff. Yeah. So if there's something wrong or something needed to be added, please write a comment down below. Okay, so starting, Purple Rain is from Prince, composer is Prince, yeah, who else? And the album is Purple Rain. The album release was 1984, and we have it here. Sunset Sound, First Avenue is a club, and the Warehouse are the studios where they recorded that, the album. And the producer, of course, was Prince. And they did, for the songs, they did a live recording in the First Avenue Club, which is the club where they performed in the movie. And they recorded the basic tracks, and then for Purple Rain, for the song Purple Rain, they made overdubs at Sunset Sound. It was recorded with his band, The Revolution, and he got 2 Grammys for that album, and the movie won 1 Oscar. So the guitars. Prince is famous and very much known for using a Hohner guitar. German company, not famous for building guitars, for accordions and harps, but they made some guitars, and Prince got one, and he used one very often. This is the Mad Cat guitar. And in the movie you see a Dave Rusin Cloud guitar. Here's a picture of him using the Mad Cat. It's a tele guitar. And this was originally built by the company H.S. Anderson in Japan. And Hohner liked it, and they released it under their own label. And somebody said that Prince bought the instrument in the late 70s and for about $30. I don't know if that's right. So, yeah. He replaced the pickups with Kinman pickups, and the guitar has a maple neck, strut style, hardtail bridge. And in the 70s, there were originally about 1,000 models made. So these old Mad Cats are really not much on the market. And this is a picture of the H.S. Anderson Mad Cat. And maybe it's a reissue because of Prince made that model famous and everybody made reissues. As Hohner 2, this is the Prince from Hohner, same guitar, and here's the headstock. And Prince let some luthiers make copies of the guitar too, and here's one from Roger Sadowski. In some purple blue with flowers on it. And here is the Dave Rusin Cloud guitar, which he plays in the movie on Purple Rain, then the last song at the set, or at the last song in the movie. The amps and cabs he was using for that recording that I found out was a Mesa Boogie Mark II, some Fender amps, Music Man amps, Marshall amps, and of course direct recording with a Countryman 85 DI, and he was using Marshall cabs and the back end cab. And this is his setup for stage, a Mesa Boogie Mark II amp and this back end 2x12 cab. And this is used in the studio and on stage, and with the Boogie amp it has 2 12 JBL speakers. And effects, yeah, he was using a lot of effects. Boss flanger, delay boss, OC2 octaver, SD1 overdrive, VB2 vibrato, Dunlop crybaby. And yeah, the list maybe goes on. I think he took everything what makes great sounds and he made even greater sounds out of it. And as I said before, when we talk about Purple Rain, the song Purple Rain and the intro of Purple Rain, we need to talk about another guitar player, and this is Wendy Melvoin. She was the guitar player in The Revolution, in the band he was supported by. And she came up with this iconic sound and iconic chords because she told in an interview that Prince had the melody already and played the band the song on the piano, and he asked the guys in the band what they come up for, and Wendy came up with this chords, and she took it to another level and added the chords and everything. And very interesting is another video. Here it's from 1 year ago from Vertex Effects. On the right is Mason Marangella. He built the pedal board for Wendy, a new pedal board, and she shows how she uses this pedal board, and of course she shows how she played Purple Rain. And very interesting for this intro, another screenshot from this video, the gear she used for Purple Rain was just her Rickenbacker 6-string guitar, a Boss CE1, and a Mesa Boogie Mark I amplifier. And I think it was the JBL, the back end cap. So yeah, very interesting. And yeah, we need to maybe change the name for this Rick into Wendy and Prince, because this is Wendy Melvoin sounding.
Let's call it Vince.
Vince. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I saw that video as well when she was showing her new pedal board and talking a lot about that stuff. Amazing person. And as you were mentioning the pedals Prince used, that's also a thing that Maggie McCready said in that Sunset Sound interview, that he always had a pretty big pedal board in the studio, a lot live, a little bit stripped down, but he never got into a pre-programmed, preset-oriented things for his shows, which is pretty astonishing because he was, in the 80s, coming out of the 80s and into the 90s, where everybody had their racks with the Bradshaw, pre-programmed stuff. And knowing about Prince's music, it would be an easy assumption. And she said that they approached him and tried him to show that stuff, but then he realized that he can't do anything on top of that. So if that's, the next sound comes and that's all fine, but it has no possibility for him to change something, to add something to it, to go crazy maybe one night on that thing. So he ditched all that and stayed with his pedal board, because that gave him the opportunity to go crazy with his guitar and do something special whenever he felt like it, and was never shackled to some pre-produced stuff. And okay, he could do that because he had his armada of amazing musicians behind him who were always delivering the basic stuff, and he could prance around in front of them with his endless possibility, that I thought was pretty interesting. Amazing approach for the 80s, or the 90s.
But it's great to have to know your stuff And sometimes it's better to leave it there where it is and leave it basic, and you have the freedom to jump into another thing and to use something on the spot, on the fly. So that's something what I do very much with the profiler. I'm using these effect buttons just to turn effects on and off, and use the morph button to switch between effects. So you can with the morphing, you can change effects on and off by morphing the mix level.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I also recommend to people. Okay, you have your song list maybe, and you program stuff with all the performances meticulously programmed to the song parts, but always have, I don't know, 5 banks of performances in front of everything, where there's just the bread and butter freewheeling setup, like your go-to amp and dry and wet basic distortion stuff, some clean stuff, and so that you could, if you would go to a jam and you don't know what's going to happen, that you would have access to your basic setup. That's always very, very important, I think.
Definitely.
And there was something else I wanted to throw in and even distract us more from the point. Please bear with us. Oh, the guitar. Yeah, and everybody knows that famous Where My Guitar Gently Weeps performance. And he was doing that with his telly, with his what's called Mad Cat. The Hohner guitar as well. So,
and also, I just watched yesterday a concert from the Super Bowl where he played in the rain, and he played Best of You from Foo Fighters with a great guitar solo. Amazing.
Yeah.
Totally great guy and genius in very many ways. So as a producer, as a guitar player, as a composer, as a live performer, singer, it's
amazing. And the way he I could go on because he was basically the so approaching the modern technology and building up on the traditions and the essence, and also in terms of instruments, this basic guitar and pedals. And then he was one of the first ones with Linn drums and sequencers and doing this stuff and sitting in the studio writing and producing at the same time with the help of just one engineer and going until, for 18 hours, for 20 hours, until the song was done. There was no fitzing around with, we come back later for the drums or whatever. He was playing the drums and playing the bass, and in the end he threw everything away. Like what was it, When Doves Cry? That's also amazing what Peggy said about that recording session. He had it pretty big and full, and then it was just that basic Linn drum thing and a little bit
bass.
Guitar, no bass, and that amazing singing and these lyrics. Come on. So where's that now with all the technology? People bring it on. Yeah. So great guy and a great inspiration also for guitar players, where he always said that he was going back and forth a lot of time on what to promote as the marquee for what he was and what he was doing, and he regretted every once in a while that he didn't show off more of his guitar playing, because basically to the world he was that soul, disco, pop, funk singer-songwriter, and not the reincarnation of Hendrix, which was living inside of him. Definitely.
But when you watch the Super Bowl, you see him.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Coming back to the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share the screen with the rig manager. and you find this sound, this rig in the Legends Tribute Collection 1, 2, 3, and you see Prince. So we rename it for Wentz then. Okay, you see pretty much in the signal chain, and there are some things. So the key is the chorus, compressor, the fuzz, we will talk about that later, wah-wah 2, and a single delay and a natural reverb. Studio EQ just for matching to the speaker frequency range, but it has a really high cut, and a little bit of mids boosted and a little bit of high frequency boosted here. And low gain turned down -2 dB. So that's it here. The amp, I didn't use a Boogie amp. I used a profile of a Fender Twins 59 from the Top Jimmy rig pack. And I turn everything down except the noise gate. That doesn't matter now. And this is the basic sound. A clean twin. Without any room information. And here's the reverb. It's a little bit, a little bit more than on the recording. I've tried to do some in between live sounding and recording sounding. The recording is really dry, just a little bit of room information. So for the use on stage, you might need a bit more room information and a bigger room. So I made that far from the original version. So if you like to have this original sound, I come back to the rig manager, then either turn the decay time down. You have this small room. And if you like to have this 80s dry sound, then turn the reverb off. But I come to that later also. So we're using the reverb with the original decay time at 1.8 here. And the compressor is just set with a moderate setting, intensity at 4.9, attack 3.8, and the mix level at 57, just to boost the softer picked notes. So you have a light, better play feel. Without. The same picking level, so you get a little bit of boost.
But man, this guitar, that's also something else you have there, I think, because what I hear, the sound, the clean tone, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just is this a real worn-out guitar, or was it?
No.
Like that. So
it was the first thing I bought in 2023.
Okay.
Didn't earn 1 penny, but bought a guitar, a custom shop guitar. It's a Fender custom shop Nocaster, and I don't really like that look, that worn out, heavy aged, heavy relic look, but I went to the store here in Aschaffenburg, Guitar Place in Aschaffenburg, great store. And they had, I think, about 5 different tallies from the custom shop. And I played them all, and this was the one. And so I didn't want that but yeah, sound goes first, and it's amazing. But it has the baseball neck, so that was heavy for me to play with my smaller fingers, but it's amazing. And yeah, I'm getting used to that neck, but those chords, you hear it. It's hard to play with the fat neck.
Yeah, but it sounds. I mean, just what I hear from through the interwebs, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So back to the sound, and back to the rig manager. Okay, natural reverb, compressor, and the main thing is the chorus. Here we are. And just one thing first, the single delay. On the original, there is no delay on the guitar, but I thought I'm using a little bit of delay for this, call it live sound. And this delay has 260, so 1/8 note repeat. It's a single delay, and the mix level is at 37%. And the thing is, I use a little bit of modulation and chorus on that, just to give me in the sustained notes some modulated sound. Without a delay. So it's got this spheric modulating sound, and you don't when you play. You hear it a bit, but it doesn't hurt. So it just makes some atmosphere for me. But if you go for the original sound, then you need to turn that off. Then the hyperchorus, and I think somebody will ask why the hyperchorus. And because we know now that Wendy Melvoin used a Boss CE1, and we have the other chorus here, the vintage chorus, and there's a setting called CE1, and I tried that. But for me, it sounds a little bit too, let's say normal. The hyperchorus setting, I'll go back to the original rig. The hyperchorus setting is a little bit more intense. And so for me, it sounded closer to the original recording as with the vintage chorus. And maybe they added at the mix some modulation on top of the originally recorded signal. And that's it for this sound. If you like to go for the solo, then turn on the Kemper fuzz and have fun. That's that one. So with the hyperchorus, maybe you need to turn the hyperchorus off, but it works for this use. And another thing, so coming from that sound, so this is rhythm sound and lead sound, and you can get out of this rig some other Prince sounds, and therefore you need to do something else. So I will show you that. Let's see. First of all, for this really total dry 80s sound. Just use a compressor, no reverb, no chorus. First of all, no studio EQ, just the amp. Oh, the chorus is on. So this is the dry sound amp, but in the 80s, they were really much recording direct. And so to get that sound, that direct 80s sound, I turn the cabinet off and just leave the amp on. And you get this sparkling, clean sound. And maybe just now modify that one. It's a little bit too sparkle for me. And here we go. This is a rig manager version. This is not. It's a beta version. In the future, there is this is coming. This liquid profiling stuff, and we have this button here, Kemper generic. So this is the original EQ tone stack, and you can choose different tone stacks with this newer version. And this is a great thing to use. So I'm taking the Fender Twins, the normal channel, and just by switching that point, it sounds a little bit different. Changing back. Here we have the Kemper generic, so the old original one. And then just switching over to the Fender Twin. It sounds a little bit different. It feels a little bit different. So for me, always it sounds a little bit more musically, more harmonic sounding. And now we can turn down the treble to get this high sizzling sound a little bit away. That's too much. It's too much the other side. So this is the one. And now when you turn the wah on, you get this one. This is the Kiss. 2 hours ago, my daughter called me and I just played this one lick and I said, "What's that?" And she immediately said, "Kiss." So, okay. Lessons learned. And yeah, you get this. Great sound, and this is the 80s Prince direct sound. What you can get when you use or when you don't use the cabinet and use these new EQ tone stack things just to modify the sound.
Play authentic, yes. Awesome, yeah. You again, this one with this one, you totally nailed it. I am sure, and I think a lot of people will appreciate that. And yeah, Prince, what he did musically, it's such a wide range of aspects, and then even to this, which seems to be really up to date as well. When he was raising against the record companies, and trying to get his art back, and this was really something. And yeah, with everybody else these days, thinking about these things, how it will go. So there was a lot of stuff going on that's still relevant today. It's amazing. So thank you for this one. I would never have thought about bringing that as one full subject on, but it's really inspiring. So thanks again for this, people. Check it out at home, and yeah. Check out the Sunset Sound podcast. It's really amazing. And
of course, check out Wendy Melvoin.
yes,
She did some other great recordings with Sheryl Crow, the Globe sessions, and I think she does a lot of ambient stuff. So she showed some stuff in the video. So great, amazing guitar player, really underrated, and we need to raise the flag for these guys.
yeah, indeed. And basically, if you're asked about the the tone stacks and stuff, this all will be available to you guys soon. We're working currently on some content, and it's amazing, I can tell you. And see you next time.
Bye.